There will be a winner tonight. It might be a repeat of the 1973 FA Cup final. I think you could say that is probably the most famous game ever played in the 144-year history of Sunderland. Or it might be another meeting of Fulham and Leeds. They played out a 5-goal thriller when they met in October in the Premier League. We will see, and these Sunderland fans will be here to see it. The 13th meeting of these two sides in this stadium. 6 of the previous 12 meetings have been drawn with 3 wins apiece. So historically, there's been very little to choose between Sunderland and Fulham, but they are now a division apart. Tony Mowbray meeting Stuart Gray and Luis Boa-Morte. Marco Silva not allowed in the Fulham dugout, of course. So let's have a look at the starting lineup. Sunderland without their top scorer Ross Stewart. He has a serious Achilles injury sustained in the first game at Craven Cottage. So the only change to the 11 which drew that game 11 days ago sees Abdullah Ba come in. Amad Diallo we think will play as the number 9. Patrick Roberts, wearing number 10, started his career at Fulham, of course, and played extremely well against them in the first game. So no Marco Silva, but he did select this 11. 2 changes from the first game. Shane Duffy's in for Issa Diop. First start for the Irishman since late August in the League Cup. He's on loan from Brighton, of course. And 17-year-old Luke Harris starts. He's a Welsh under-19 international. And Andreas Pereira drops to the bench. Well, it's great to be back at the Stadium of Light. There's the man who scored for Sunderland at Craven Cottage 11 days ago, Jack Clarke. 2 years ago, he was in a Tottenham Hotspur side, including Carlos Vinicius, now of Fulham. They won at Marine in the FA Cup 3rd round, and the Brazilian scored a hat-trick in that game. Wouldn't be a cup tie without a big foil replica. Absolutely in the rules that you've got to have one of those. Well, they've both done marvellous jobs, Tony Mowbray and Marco Silva. Our referee this evening is Tim Robinson, a former PE teacher, and I have to declare an interest here because referee Tim Robinson taught all my kids. And Fulham will be kicking from right to left in the first 45 minutes. They're in the white and black, Sunderland in the red and white striped jerseys. Danny Gabidon alongside me. Danny, the first game was great. We just hope for something similar.
We certainly do, Steve. You know, if it's half as good as that game at Craven Cottage, then we're going to be in for a crack. I think there's been some fantastic FA Cup ties this season. I thought Sunderland gave a really good account of themselves in the first game, created a lot of chances. We're holding on a little bit second half. Fulham certainly deserved to get back into the game, but what I loved was both teams really going for it. Neither team wanted the replay. Both teams wanted to get the job done first time round. That wasn't the case, but I think we're going to be in for an entertaining game again here.
Patrick Roberts got the blow to the face, and that is a little backheader from Tosin, which will reach Rodek in the Fulham goal. Collected by Hume, given away into the Fulham midfield, where Luke Harris got his first touch of the game. Just looking at the 2 lineups, first thing to say is that Harris does seem to be playing behind Carlos Vinicius, with Harry Wilson out on the right-hand side and Manuel Solomon on the left for Fulham. And looking at Sunderland's lineup, it's almost like a front 2, isn't it, of Abdullah Ba and Amad Diallo.
Yeah, we were looking at it before kick-off, weren't we, Steve? And both teams very versatile with the personnel. We know the issues that Sunderland have up top. Obviously, the injury to Ross Stewart in that game at Craven Cottage is a big blow for them. So Tony Mowbray just having to switch things around, did you say? It does look like Ba is the man who's going to start. Played off the left in the first game. He's playing through the middle alongside Diallo. And we thought maybe Luke Harris would play on our right-hand side, but it looks like he's just going to sit him in behind Vinicius.
The ball is given away, and Jack Clark advances for Sunderland and plays it into Abdullah Bar. On it goes to Amad Diallo, the man on loan from Manchester United. Roberts back to Amad. And it was lost by Dan Neil as Carlos Vinicius advances for Fulham. Well won by Patrick Roberts. It's always great when you go back to your former club and play well, and Roberts certainly did that in the first game.
You know, that'll be big incentive for him again tonight. Thought he was outstanding in that game at Craven Cottage. The link up between him and Diallo caused Fulham a lot of problems. He's a man in really good form at the minute. Looking forward to watching the performance of Diallo as well. I think he's starting to show why Manchester United paid so much money for him. I do like him in a bit more of a central position rather than off the right. You will see him kind of drift out to the right-hand side and look to link with Roberts and Hume, the full-back. But in good goal-scoring form as well.
Kenny's ball was overhit. Couldn't find Kurzawa. There is Marco Silva. He has a very, very high vantage point here in the very upper tier of the Stadium of Light.
I'm disappointed, Steve. You said he might be sitting next to us.
That's what I was told, that he might be right next to us, but there's no pressure, is it, when the manager stood right next to you and you're commentating? Tactics are always spot on in those circumstances. This is nicely worked. That might be a little push. It is. It's going to be a free kick. There was very little to choose between the sides at Craven Cottage. Indeed, Fulham relied upon a quite super goal from Kearney to get themselves back in the game.
It was a brilliant goal as well. Tom Kearney, great first touch. The little chop to get it back onto, well, a double chop to get it back onto his left, and then a really composed finish. But I think they were full value for that. They pushed hard second half, Fulham. I know they're going to be in for a game tonight.
Here's Duffy, who really has hardly been involved for Fulham this season. A League Cup defeat to Crawley, his only other start for the club since joining on loan from Brighton. But hugely experienced, of course. Here is Kurzawa, also on loan from Paris Saint-Germain. Manuel Solomon here. Carlos Vinicius with the layoff. Kurzawa, helped on by Luke Harris, couldn't quite find Harry Wilson. The little flick, I think, came off Mishu. And Barr is caught by Tete. Referee's going to play on here, Tim Robinson. How difficult for Shane Duffy, Danny, to come into this environment having played so little football. Well, he's just dropped a brilliant ball to Solomon, and that's a great recovery challenge. Well, Ballard did ever so well, but I was just wondering whether Shane Duffy could hit the ground running, and then he pinged a 60-yard beaut.
Yeah, certainly did. Fantastic vision, the execution, the run from Solomon off the back of Hume there. And he's just waiting for that ball just to drop so he can connect with a strike, and that gives Ballard the time, as you see here, to get back. Really good recovery tackle from the centre-back.
Kearney with the Fulham corner. Decent delivery too. Duffy nearly got something on it, and Clark keeps it away from Tosin.
Yeah, he will be a major target, a major threat from attacking set pieces for Fulham. We just saw his ability there with that long crossfield ball, but very dangerous attacking set pieces. So Daniel Ballard have to do a really good job on him tonight.
Rodak. Duffy. João Palhinha has been a brilliant signing for Fulham at the base of their midfield, wearing number 26, the Portuguese. He's hardly missed a game, and well, I've never seen him play other than exceptionally well in the matches I've seen of Fulham this season.
Yeah, been an outstanding signing for Fulham. I think that's been the key to them this season. You look at Fulham in recent seasons when they've come back into the Premier League, bit of a scattergun approach with the recruitment. A little trip on Harry Wilson here. But the recruitment's been a lot more measured from Fulham this season, in particular Pellegrini, the job he does in that midfield area, anticipating, breaking at play, one of the best in the Premier League.
There's Dan Neil with the foul on Harry Wilson. Fulham's free kick. Wilson, Kenny and Manor Solomon. Duffy and Tosin and Carlos Vinicius are there. It's played to Harry Wilson to change the angle. Back inside to Kearney. Kearney's shot was charged down well by Jack Clark. Kearney forward again, helped on its way by Harris to Manos Solomon. Tete. Patrick Roberts' head has fallen back into the danger zone here, and it's hit by Wilson, it's in. That's a lovely goal by Harry Wilson. He's caressed it in off the outside of his left boot. And although Patterson got hands to it, he couldn't keep it out. And Fulham have the lead at the Stadium of Light. Lovely finish from Harry Wilson.
Well, exactly the start Michael Silva would have been looking for. That Tete delivery into the box, and he just struggled to clear their line. Sunderland, intelligent little layoff there from Vinicius. Great improvisation from Harry Wilson. See here, I think it's Roberts on the far post, just struggling with a header. The little layoff to Wilson, and that is a brilliant finish outside of the left foot, just guides it into that far corner. It's just the pace that beats Patterson in the Sunderland goal. So he just tries to react, diving to his left, just the pace. Can't get enough of a left hand on it. Brilliant start for Fulham though.
His first goal of the season, Harry Wilson. Well, I think Patterson will be a little bit disappointed that he couldn't push it around the post, and I think Patrick Roberts is going to be disappointed with his defensive header. An avoidable goal, but well taken, Harry Wilson.
Yeah, difficult one for Patrick Roberts on that far post. He's not the biggest of players. He's battling, he's trying to get ahead on the ball to clear the box. He's not able to do so. Clever play from Vinicius, so just the awareness to see Wilson there on the edge of the box. And as I say, shot's not in the far corner, but it goes through bodies, and Patterson's just looking to react quickly down low to his left, not able to.
Duffy charged that down, looked suspiciously like handball, but wasn't given. Danny Bart here. Here's Try Hume. Looking for Roberts. Kurzawa's done well with that, done really well actually. That's nicely done. Harris for Fulham. Luke Harris. João Palhinha. The Sunderland fans on 10 minutes bursting into applause for one of their own, Chris Collier. Well-known Army veteran and Sunderland supporter who passed away recently, and our thoughts are with his fiancée Samantha and their 3 young children. Chris Collier, taken far too young. João Palhinha. It's a free kick to Fulham. Well, how does Sunderland approach this now? No need for panic early on in the game, but not the start they were looking for.
No, certainly isn't. Fulham have started the brighter of the two teams, controlling possession early. Crosses into the box. As you say, Tony Mowbray won't panic. His Sunderland team, not the ideal start, but plenty of time to get back into it.
And they might be getting back into it here. Can't quite get it through to Barr. They have now. He went down too easily, really. Duffy was behind him. Barr went over a little bit too keenly.
And that was a feature of Sunderland's play down at Craven Cottage. They were right on the front foot, pressing out of possession, looking to win the ball back high up the pitch. Exactly what they did there. Nothing doing on Barr with a penalty. Needs to be a little bit stronger in that situation.
Here's Ballard. Hume. Oh, well won by Kearney, dragging it away. Got options left and right, finding Manos Solomon here. He'll cut inside onto his right boot, look for room for the shot. Hasn't really found any, but has found Tete. Now Wilson. João Palhinha. Well, if you can't find a way through, make sure you don't give the ball away, and Fulham have done that well. And then Kazawa does, with a header which was easily cut out by Hume. Kazawa's won it back. Tosin, Carlos Vinicius, he's given it away. And Barr can look for Diallo. Too much pace on it, Duffy's there.
Yeah, just apologises to Diallo there, Barr, and rightly so. Wasn't really a difficult pass. Sloppy layoff from Vinicius, just set Sunderland on the counter-attack, and opportunity there to set Diallo away in space, a situation that he loves, and Barr just sloppy with the through ball.
João Palhinha for Fulham. Harris has made a confident start to the game for a 17-year-old for Fulham, wearing number 38.
Yeah, someone who's done really well. At youth level, scored a lot of goals. Been involved in the Wales setup, the main squad on a few occasions now, so excellent prospect.
Here goes Solomon. Just a little nudge from Hume, and then he gave the ball away, and Clark can try and run it away, but he's run into Tete. Here's Kearney. Fulham are bossing this at the moment with nearly 15 played.
Yeah, doing a really good job, Fulham, in possession, but when the ball does get turned over, very quick to win the ball back. They done their homework on Sunderland, I think, from the first game. Stepping in, winning the ball back quickly, not allowing them to counter-attack up the pitch.
Tosin swept beautifully away to Harris. Decent control. They're very good at keeping the ball.
Well, Sunderland will expect this. You know, it was very much a similar kind of pattern at Craven Cottage, where Fulham dominate possession. They are the Premier League team, and Sunderland had some very good moments on the counter-attack where they're able to win the ball back and break quickly.
That's nicely done. Back into Solomon by Wilson. He's got Carlos Vinicius ahead of him. This is Kazawa. Don't think he kept that in play. No, he didn't. So 15 played, Sunderland behind at home in a cup competition. That's not unusual. They haven't won a home game in the FA Cup or League Cup since beating Shrewsbury in the League Cup in August 2016. They haven't won an FA Cup tie here since 2015, when they beat Leeds, who of course wait in round 5 for the winners of this one. 7 years without winning a cup tie at home. Here's Duffy. Tosin with the error, but he'll get away with that. Marek Rodak with the clearance.
I'm just looking to set that trap. Sunderland, they're not pressing those Fulham centre-backs. They're just looking for that ball that looks to be played through the lines, and then they're looking to break. Tosin did have one or two moments like that in the first game. Got away with that one.
Wilson drifting infield. Tosin. Kazawa. Kearney's little layoff. Harry Wilson for Fulham. Solomon. Kurzawa. Good challenge, but Tosin is there to keep Fulham in possession. Then Ahmad nicks it away from him. And Sunderland might break here, but João Palhinha wins it brilliantly. Well, that's what João Palhinha does.
Really aggressive, steps in, stops that potential counter-attack. I actually thought Sunderland maybe should have moved the ball out to the left. There's probably more space out there, but I mean, he just reads the situation so well, steps in, wins the ball back.
Danny Bart away to Elise. Here he is again, the former West Ham defender, played Europa League games for the Hammers. Diallo is caught after the ball had gone by Kurzawa.
Well, the ball goes past, but the ball and the man doesn't go past. Cynical from Kurzawa, lovely skill from Diallo, sees him come in, he'll flick around the corner.
Jimmy Montgomery on high. You saw his astonishing save from the final from 1973 before kick-off here. One of the greats of that extraordinary FA Cup final. Bob Stokoe with the Trilby hat, Ian Porterfield with the goal. Montgomery's save was every bit as important. João Palhinha given away, and now here's Bar. Amad Diallo ahead of him. Abdullah Bar might hit this. Now he looks for Diallo. Tosin in front of him. Roberts with the shot, blocked by Duffy. Not really cleared away. Now it should be. And Kenny might launch a counter-attack here, finding Manor Solomon. It's going to be a bit more pragmatic than that.
First real opportunity for Sunderland on the counter-attack. Actually thought Bar should have shot himself. It opened up, played Diallo. Strike wasn't really on for him. It was a decent opportunity, I think, for Roberts. Yes, I think possibly on his weaker right foot, scuffs the shot. Sloppy from Fulham, giving the ball away in a dangerous area.
Yeah, good interchange between Bar and Diallo.
Here's that chance for Roberts. Yes, on his weaker right foot. Fulham bodies in front of him, should have done better with the strike.
That's what the free kick was for.
Just a knee shot there on Kearney.
Wasn't much, was it? Patterson getting there. Dan Neal. Elise. Bart. Bar. Ballard for Roberts. Easily cut out by Kurzawa. Little 1-2 with Kearney. Solomon back inside to Tom Kearney. Kurzawa. João Palhinha. Roberts trying to dispossess Kearney, couldn't do it. Can Sunderland make Fulham feel uncomfortable? At the moment, they've kind of glided through this opening 21 minutes, 21 and a half minutes. Patterson in the Sunderland goal. He's made that position his own over the last season or so. Has a very good relationship with Jimmy Montgomery, actually. Elise. Clark. Michoud to Ballard. Amad Diallo. Is Elise. Sunderland are lacking the kind of physical presence that Carlos Vinicius has given Fulham in these opening 22 minutes. He is a handful. He's very happy to get involved in physical stuff with Ballard and Bart. And he's now heading for the penalty area. Manor Solomon for Fulham, cutting inside, cutting outside, still no room. I think he thought about going down there, Solomon, but there was no contact, and Patterson has clutched the cross.
Yeah, just did a little bit too much in the end. Solomon just made it difficult for himself with the angle for the cross. 1v1 with Hume, inside, outside, slows the attack up, almost runs out of space in the end. Lovely play from Tom Kearney though, releasing him. He's running the game at the minute, getting on the ball, making things happen for Fulham.
Luis Boamorte amongst the coaching staff at Fulham. Arsenal man, of course, played for Fulham as well.
Yeah, ex-West Ham as well, don't forget that, Steve.
Yes, your
teammate of mine.
Boys, yeah.
Lovely man.
João Palhinha. It's found its way to Wilson, and Wilson is clattered. Just can't quite get in the game. Sunderland had that one half chance with the Roberts miss-hit shot.
Yeah, lovely play here from Wilson. Little nutmegs here on. Michoud just draws the foul. But as you say, Steve, they don't have that kind of focal point in attack, so they have to play a little bit of a different way. Sunderland have to try and play through the units, and Fulham doing a decent job up until now of keeping that shape, making it really difficult for Sunderland to play through. Obviously getting the early goal helps as well, getting that early foothold in the game.
Roberts have signed Joe Gelhardt on loan from Leeds, actually. Roberts has given the ball away. Harry Wilson charging forward here, full of confidence and very nearly passing the ball into the corner of the net. Patterson with the save.
Just a little bit tame with the strike in the end, Harry Wilson. Seen him score so many goals from that area of the pitch, but it's a little bit tame with the strike in the end. Comfortable for Patterson.
Tosin tussling with Roberts, and the free kick goes Fulham's way.
Yeah, but a chance again, just coming off the back of pressure off the ball from Fulham. Tosin just winning the ball back from Roberts and just getting his leg trip. Here's the chance for Wilson again, driving inside, and he's just looking to let fly. Maybe Danny Bart just doing enough there to get across and just make the strike a little bit more difficult. Doesn't get the power on the strike in the end.
Here's the Israeli Solomon on loan from Shakhtar Donetsk. Very good interview with, I think it's the president of Shakhtar Donetsk on the BBC website, actually, about how the Ukraine war has affected them. Their players allowed to leave the club, and Manor Solomon one of those, and their hopes for the future. Oh, well played, Kazawa. Carlos Vinicius, boot was high. Well, decision is a Fulham free kick for handball by Ballard.
I'm not sure if it was for handball or was it for the high foot. Steve, we'll see again here. First touch that skips up, yeah, possibly, yeah, off the hand of Ballard.
Northern Ireland international, who was an Arsenal trainee, Dan Ballard.
He's going to be a big player for Sunderland between now and the end of the season. Was one of their kind of marquee signings start of the season. Got injured, not long come back, but I have to say I thought he was absolutely outstanding in the game at Craven Cottage. Really good defender, comfortable on the ball.
A great goal line clearance, wasn't
Yeah,
it? The referee,
superb.
Tim Robinson, having a word with Tom Kearney here. I think he'd like Fulham to just shift on with it a little bit. Harris with a free kick short to Kearney. Kenny Teta here. Wilson's header. Roberts picked off by Kurzawa. And bouncing off the chest of Wilson, he's kept the ball in play. This could be dangerous. Misha is there. Tosin holding off Abdullah Bar. Certainly an equal battle in terms of stature.
You saw Harry Wilson flip the ball back into a really good area there, just lacking bodies attacking the ball. Fulham doing a really good job, just not allowing Sunderland really out of their half, doing a very good job at winning the ball back quickly. Second balls.
Clark from the Teta era. Jack Clark. Blocked by the Fulham right back. It's going to be a Sunderland throw-in. What they can't really do is just knock it into the box from those positions, because Duffy and Tosin are not going to be beaten by Bar and Amad Diallo, not in the air anyway. And Sunderland have lost the ball to Kearney. This might be dangerous. It was Dan Neil with the error. Into Harry Wilson. Solomon is forward. Wilson advances and misses. Well, that's 3 chances now for Harry Wilson. He took the first beautifully. The second was saved by Patterson. The third is wide of the post.
Yeah, Sunderland slopping that left-hand side. Neil gets robbed of the ball from Kearney. Sets Wilson away, driving inside on that favoured left foot. And he's just waiting really for the net to bulge there. But Kearney's running the show in that midfield area. He should do better, Wilson. Should have a hat-trick already. Just looking to bend it into that far corner.
Almost looked like Patterson had given up on that. Solomon. Well, that's the shot count, which tells the story of the first half hour. It's been a story of Fulham dominance.
Yeah, it's been really impressive from the Premier League side. And as I said, I think Marco Silva done his homework off the back of the first game, where Sunderland caused Fulham a lot of issues, and right up for this one tonight. Fulham doing an excellent job of containing Sunderland. Good battle here between Vinicius and Ballard.
Been a fair bit of that. Here's Kurzawa into Carlos Vinicius. Couldn't quite pick out Harry Wilson, and Danny Bart managed to let the ball go through his legs to the keeper.
Just interchanging nicely. Luke Harris and Harry Wilson. At times, Harris is going out onto that right-hand side. Harry Wilson's coming more central and vice versa. Just looking to mix things up and just confuse that Sunderland back line's working really well.
Oh, Kurzawa, nicely done. He's got a Champions League hat-trick on his CV. Here's Kurzawa for Paris Saint-Germain against Anderlecht. Not bad for a left-back.
Yeah, serious player. Kurzawa, experienced. Difficult game for him at Craven Cottage, though. Was caused a lot of issues by Diallo and Roberts on this right-hand side, but started the game really well here.
Generally, Anthony Robinson has been preferred, but Kurzawa has it again. Harris, Tete. Wilson back into Harris, and seen behind for the goal kick. Well, the Fulham boss will be a little bit frustrated at being divorced from the action, from his Erie's perch, but delighted with the way the first half hour has gone. You'd pay a lot of money for that seat when Beyonce comes here at the end of May. Ow. Abdullah Bar, mistake by Kearney. Abdullah Bar's shot hit João Palhinha. Duffy, Wilson. Duffy just away from Melisse. Tete under pressure. Sunderland fans much happier with that. Fulham players being made to feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, just looking to press high there. in doing that. He ended up winning the ball back. No more than a half chance really for Bar. I thought it was worth taking the strike on. Elected not to play it wide to Diallo on this occasion. Good block from, I think it was Duffy in the end.
Here's Roberts. Roberts now, Kazawa chasing him. Roberts for Sunderland. Nicely done, Clark. Amad Diallo in the middle, it flicks up, it's out by Tosin. Very calmly collected and cleared by Harris, but Dan Ballard is there. Neil. Much better few minutes for the home side. Hume, Roberts, Amad Diallo. Decent hit, it was moving through the air. Rodak dealt with it, Bar. Abdullah Bar over the bar.
A really good couple of minutes for Sunderland. First time they've really been able to kind of link and get their forward players into the game. Dipping, swerving strike from Diallo, difficult for Rodak. And an even more difficult chance for Bar, as you see as it comes out. Rodak spills it, it's just really awkward on the angle for Bar, but much better from Sunderland, forcing the save.
Real dipper, much better. Huge shock to Sunderland when Alex Neil decided to leave and go to Stoke, but the appointment of Tony Mowbray, who was dispensed with by Blackburn Rovers after a lengthy spell at Ewood Park, has proved to be an inspired one.
Yeah, I think he's done an excellent job. I was actually here earlier in the season for that Norwich game when Alex Neil left, and speaking to one or two of them.
Oh, now Michu went over João Palhinha with the touch. There's no VAR here, as we're not in a Premier League stadium. Tim Robinson said no penalty. Not too many complaints either from the Sunderland players. Now it's a free kick for a foul by Dan Neil. No way, says Tim Robinson.
Yeah, and I think he's right. Don't think it was, but much better from Sunderland, better energy last couple of minutes. Misha just driving into the box, but really well-timed tackle from Palhinha. This one not so well-timed. He's drawing a foul there, young Luke Harris.
So approaching the last 10 minutes of normal time in what has been an increasingly absorbing first half, because Sunderland has improved as it's gone on, and that's a great ball. Amad Diallo now running at Kazawa, he's done him. Diallo, the angle's very tight, he's going to need some help. Roberts is in the middle, he's looking for Clark. Harris came back, Tete can clear. Elise keeps Sunderland in possession.
You can see what this spell is doing for the crowd right behind their team now. Looking to release Diallo in behind. He's never really able to kind of create that angle to get the strike away. Skins Kazawa, sells himself. He's just looking for an option in the box, not able to pick anyone out in the end, but this is much, much better.
Dan Neil, Clark, Michu, Neil, and the error by Hume. Solomon onto it, unable to take advantage.
And a good recovery there from the fullback, sloppy in possession, but reacting really quickly to get the ball back for his team.
Hume again. Danny Bart for Sunderland. Wilson forward, that's no threat there. Well, it maybe took them 25 minutes to half an hour to get going, Sunderland, but they've got their wind in the sails now for sure.
Yeah, just starting to link with their passing a little bit more. Playing the ball forward through the lines, getting in behind. It's been difficult for them. Up until this point, Fulham have done an excellent job, but it's something that they did really well in the first game. In particular, Neil and Misha in that midfield there are taking the ball in kind of tight areas, running the ball into space and then looking to link with those forward players. They found it much more difficult in this first half, but...
Oh, what a ball by Tosin Harry Wilson. Oh, great starting position from Anthony Patterson. That was a glorious pass. Kearney is having a good evening. Cut out by Hume, couldn't get it through. Kurzawa to Diallo. Still Kurzawa. Dan Ballard is there for Sunderland. Neil to Roberts and back into Neil, and Neil hurdles away from João Palhinha. Now can he find the pass? He's being chased by Solomon, surely being fouled by Solomon. It's a free kick to Sunderland. I think the card's staying in the pocket.
Slightly lucky to get away with this one. I think Solomon just dragging on that right arm of Neil. Really good feet from Neil in a tight area to initially skip away. Solomon's just desperate to stop Neil playing that ball to the left-hand side, because Fulham would have been in trouble. It's really a clever foul to give away in the end, and even better, not picking up the yellow.
His Blackburn Rovers team, just about 2 years ago, lost 7-0 at home to Marco Silva's Fulham. He won't have forgotten that. Here's Roberts. Hooked away by Wilson, anywhere would do. Here's Roberts. Keeper comes, Roddick, good punch. Took out Duffy. Clark's shot is blocked and has gone behind for a goal kick, and they'll need to check on Shane Duffy here. Goalkeeper had to commit.
It's positive goalkeeping. Roddick, you can see there, starting position. He's just waiting for that ball to be floated in and fully committed. Shane Duffy just copping one here. Good positive goalkeeping, not even thinking about collecting. Really good punch, but looks like Duffy's going to be okay.
Yep, back on his feet. Tete. Harris just didn't get the contact he was looking for. Here's Barr. Amad Diallo. Hume neatly to Roberts. Diallo. Kearney. No foul. Roberts trying to weave a way through. Kurzawa got a good foot in and is then tripped by Roberts as the legs tangled, and Fulham have themselves a free kick. Here's Roberts forward. Barr going to ground. Duffy was with him. Nothing doing. Into the last 5. Stadium of Light is one of 14 stadiums on the Great Britain and Ireland list for a potential bid for the 2028 European Championship. That list, I think, will be whittled down to 10 shortly. Kurzawa just about found Duffy. Vinicius, read by Hume. Dan Neil forward to Patrick Roberts. Adji Elise to Clark. Elise's continued his run and they nearly found him. Duffy reacted well.
A lot more confidence shown from Sunderland now in possession. Maybe Fulham just dropping off slightly towards the end of this first half, just allowing Sunderland to get a bit more possession in that midfield area and look to play those balls forward.
Elise trying to snick it into Barr. Roberts. Neil. Crowd urging him to shoot. His first touch wasn't really good enough for him to do that. Manor Solomon made the block. And then Danny Bart out of play for what's going to be a Fulham throw-in. Well, probably 15 minutes ago, you would say that Fulham were sailing serenely into round 5 of the FA Cup, but rather less so now.
I think on the whole, they've been in control this first half. Have obviously got their nose in front, but been a good response from Sunderland last 5-10 minutes, I would say. Just turning that momentum around a little bit, starting to pin Fulham back in their half. No real clear-cut chances for them up until now, but much, much better.
Kearney, the central cog to Fulham's midfield, which is working smoothly so far this evening. João Palhinha. They'll be happy enough to just avoid any alarms in the last couple of minutes of this first half, Fulham.
He's a difficult man to pin down, Tom Kearney. Just look where he's kind of standing now in that right back position. He's given that freedom to just go and get on the ball wherever he wants to. He's very good at kind of finding space to operate in. If you give him that time and space, and he's got the ability to control games. He's very good this first half.
It's only his 5th start of the season. He's almost always a substitute in Premier League football. He's come off the bench 21 times this season for Fulham, as Tom Kearney. Harry Wilson is after this. The actual spin of the ball, just for a moment there seemed to be a little bit of backspin on that, and Patterson dealt with it well. I don't know if it was backspin or wind, but it suddenly seemed to lose a bit of impetus.
Yeah, a little bit of both, I think. It's a little bit blustery out there. Difficult night for goalkeepers, defenders.
Carlos Vinicius. Elise, now there might be something on. Clark charging down this left-hand side, being chased by Tete. That's good defending. And Clark just pulled him.
And he's just got to know his players there. Jack Clark, very quick. Tete's got 2 or 3 yards on him, but as soon as he takes that kind of third touch, allows Tete to use his pace to get back, and Clark just showing a little bit of frustration there, just dragging that left arm back.
So the Slovakian Marek Rodak will clatter this away downfield. 4th official Jeremy Simpson is going to put his board up in a moment. Don't think there's going to be very much added time. Just the 1 minute to add on. There's Neil. Hume, Roberts. Kept him well by Roberts. He's done really well. Amad Diallo. One last throw of the dice in this half for Sunderland, maybe, if they crack on with this throw-in. No. Tim Robinson blows his whistle, and it's the Premier League side who have the advantage at half-time, thanks to a beautifully taken early goal from Harry Wilson. He's had the opportunity.
Well, Marco Silva isn't messing about, is he? I think he really wants to get this tie won. One that he knows Sunderland's still very much in the game, so certainly signalling their intentions there, Fulham, to get the job done, maybe get a 2nd or 3rd goal, really kill this game off.
Alexander Mitrovic has never scored in the FA Cup. This is his 10th appearance in the competition. So that's certainly given Fulham a little bit of extra edge. And something else for Sunderland to think about. I guess Marco Silva was feeling that there were just one or two signs that the tie might be swinging in the home side's favour towards the end of that half.
Yeah, certainly the last kind of 10 minutes of the game, Sunderland started to get a bit of momentum. You look at the performance of Carlos Vinicius. It's very good in terms of the layoff for the Harry Wilson goal, but there were some sloppy moments from him in terms of his hold-up play. So
here is Harry Wilson. Andreas Pereira. That's a good ball in. Wilson on the edge of the penalty area. That's handball. It's very definitely, I think, a deliberate handball by Harry Wilson as well.
Yeah, not quite sure he's questioning there, Harry Wilson. Maybe thinks he was pushed in mid-air. You see here, but no, it's handball there, not football.
Tony Mowbray doesn't have that many options on his substitutes bench, certainly not as many as Fulham.
Yeah, it's a young bench for Sunderland, young squad altogether. But I think for Sunderland it's very much about keeping themselves in the game. Don't concede a second. Can they be a little bit more neat and tidy in possession, move the ball a bit quicker, get the ball into the likes of Diallo and Roberts a little bit higher up the pitch. Easier said than done because Fulham have been very good with their pressing, but can they have a bit more control possession, keep the tempo high, and do a little bit more with those counter-attacks?
Abdullah Bar here running into trouble. Well, he was asking for trouble with that run and he nearly got it. I mean, it is a Sunderland free kick at the upshot. He'll be happy about that.
He did well in the end. Good hold-up play, and he's just looking for an out, really. Good pressure from Fulham. Does really well drawing a foul in the end, edge of his own 18-yard box.
Here's Danny Bart into Patrick Roberts. Adji Elise. Now Wilson foul on Elise. Free kick to Sunderland.
A nice little layoff from Clark. Sets Elise on his way. Haven't really seen him venture over the halfway line too much, but intelligent layoff from Clark allows him to do that and gets the foul.
They've made nothing of that set piece. One option on the bench there is that young man, 15-year-old Chris Rigg. 15 years and 235 days old today. He's been to school today. He's a year 11 student working for his GCSEs. He thought he'd scored the winner in the closing moments at Craven Cottage, but he was offside.
Yeah, really good finish as well, it was.
He would have been the youngest player ever to score in this competition had that goal counted. He may still be the youngest player ever to score in this competition. May do it tonight. Rodak forward, Tete. Just one defeat in 9, Sunderland. They're not used to losing games of late. The only side to beat them in that run was Swansea, who beat them here. 4-time FA Cup finalists, twice winners, Sunderland. Fulham have never won this competition, of course, though they did reach the final in 1975. Alan Mullery and co. Bobby Moore playing against West Ham in the final. Bobby Moore's club, of course, and losing 2-0. Alan Taylor with a couple of goals for the Hammers. You can have a good stab at somebody's age depending on what's the first FA Cup final they remember. I have vague memories of 74, but very clear ones of West Ham Fulham. I'm 23, by the way. Adji Elise getting forward. Jack Clark, little space there. Clark, oh, that's good stuff, still going. Needs a little bit of help. Finds Roberts. Hume to Diallo, back to Hume, deflected, and Sunderland get the throw.
Yeah, lovely feet from Jack Clark, and that's where you want to see him. That's the area of the pitch where he can do damage, but lots of Fulham bodies back there. He's jinking, he's manoeuvring the ball, looking to get half a yard to get the strike away, but Fulham not allowing that.
Wilson forward to Pereira, break on here. He's got Solomon away to the left-hand side. Andreas Pereira, that pass is just going to force Solomon wide a little bit. Mitrovic is in the middle, Harry Wilson here. Wilson's back heel, Kearney's drive. And he's dragged it and pulled it wide. Kearney's the man you want on that.
Certainly is. It's probably the wrong side for a left footer. But we know the technical ability that he has. Ball from Pereira to Solomon, just driving him slightly wide. They'll flick into the path of Kearney. Harry Wilson just looking to whip it back across Patterson there.
Abdullah Bar. Clark. Roberts did well to get out of the way. Amad Diallo here. Kazawa in front of him. Diallo's gone past him. Tosin. Diallo, really good awareness of the defenders' space around him. It's Neil. Well done, Neil. Just wide. Good opportunity, well worked.
Yeah, similar kind of area to the Tom Kearney strike that we just saw. Brilliant play from Diallo. Good composure to keep hold of the ball. He's drawing Fulham players towards him. He'll lay off into the path of Neil. Trying to do exactly the type of finish that we saw from Tom Kearney. Just whipping it back across the road, not too far away. Goalkeeper was beaten.
The Sunderland are complaining that Fulham are delaying. Alexander Mitrovic is off the pitch at the moment, changing his boots. That little back heel has found Clark. It was Barr's touch. Roberts in the middle. Diallo getting forward. Patrick Roberts. He's got it under control. Good save by Rodak. That's their best chance of the game so far.
Yeah, really good spell this from Sunderland. Really brisk counter-attack down that left-hand side, and Jack Clark on this occasion realising that he can't run Tete. Really intelligent ball back inside. Great feet from Robertson. Gets the strike away. Forces an excellent save from Rodak.
Mitrovic is still doing his bootlaces up. He's now finally done them.
Yeah, not quite sure you can get the footwear wrong.
Well, Fulham have 11 men on the pitch again here. They nearly conceded when they were one shy. Here's Diallo. Tosin in front of him. Roberts, nicely done. Hume did have a little look, but didn't find any red and white shirts. Harry Wilson away. They are most definitely not out of this FA Cup tie, Sunderland.
It's been a good spell, this, for Sunderland. It really has. It's been Fulham that made the double change at half-time, showing their intent, but Sunderland the better team at the minute.
That's a good play by Clark, and he's drawn the foul from Shane Duffy. Going to be a yellow card here for the Fulham defender.
It's not often you see Shane Duffy getting out muscled in a challenge. Jack Clark just using his body really well there. Duffy's a little bit too eager here to go and win the ball. Gets his body in, gets the other side, and then Duffy just looking to make a tackle from the wrong side.
This is their best chance of the game.
Yeah, brilliant feet in a tight area from Roberts. I think the shot maybe just nicks off Duffy there, which makes the save even harder. Yes, it does. Has to react quickly. Strong left hand.
Now, set piece Sunderland. Roberts to take. Carefully into the box. Danny Butt, I think, got his head on it, and that's dropping and looping wide of Rodak's right hand upright. Well, he's beginning to fancy his side's chances of getting back on level terms, Tony Mowbray. That's Neil. Elise, well defended. João Palhinha up to Mitrovic. Mitrovic couldn't get it back into the Portuguese. Michu here, the young French midfielder, finding Hume. Roberts, beautifully done. Excellent stuff. Amad Diallo, super feet, off the line. It was Shane Duffy for Fulham. Brilliant stuff by first Roberts and then by Amad Diallo. Well, Fulham have got a free kick and they've got Shane Duffy to thank for still being in front.
Yes, outstanding defending from Duffy, but whoops, a little nutmeg there on Kearney from Roberts. Diallo with the chop. He thinks he scored, but it's clever defending from Duffy. The kind of defend you can't really coach, it's instinctive. Gets himself back onto a line, into an area where he thinks the shot might go. Excellent defending, brilliant play from Sunderland again.
Yeah, there's stuff to talk about between the dugout pitch side and the manager up high. Pereira, Kearney. Well, if Marco Silva hoped those two half-time substitutions, bringing on the big guns of Mitrovic and Andreas Pereira, would put this cup tie to bed, then he's disappointed at the moment because Sunderland have started the second half as well as they finished the first. But that's nicely done. And Manos Solomon into a very dangerous position, just missed by Pereira, hit by Tete. Excellent block. Really good block that by Michu, but here's Kearney. Tosin. Duffy has to go back. Right, it's a really good game now.
Certainly is, and as you say, Steve, Marco Silva making that double change at half-time, looking like he wants to kind of get that second goal and really kill the game off, and the substitutes have had the opposite effect. Hasn't affected Sunderland at all.
It's Kearney, and it's Mitrovic. Mitrovic, good save. Patterson, still Mitrovic, and Pereira into the net. And the substitutes do combine to double Fulham's lead. Mitrovic managed to keep the ball in play despite the best efforts of Anthony Patterson, and Andreas Pereira makes it 2-0 to Fulham.
Premier League quality from Fulham, that's what they can do. Sunderland on top of this game. And they put a really good attacking move together and it's 2-0. That touch from Mitrovic is brilliant, just takes Ballard and Bat out of the game. Patterson initially doing well, but great vision then from Mitrovic, who's right on the byline to hook the ball back here, as you see, into an area for an easy tap-in for Pereira. Substitutes combining. Touch from Mitrovic is excellent. Patterson's out quickly, but the intelligence just to know where Pereira is. Could have easily let that go out for a corner. Easy tap-in for Pereira.
And it's 2-0. Doesn't look best pleased, but his side are 2-0 up. And with a foot now in the fifth round. It was a great run by Mitrovic. I think it was Dan Neil that didn't track it.
Yeah, he just had the momentum. He's just sitting off Daniel Ballard, I think it was, and he's just running into that space between him and Danny Ballard. The ball's played at the right time, and his first touch is fantastic because it just takes the centre-back out of the play. Patterson doing really well to get out and smother the initial shot, but
Tete getting involved here with Elise. Sunderland get the throw. They need a goal.
Yeah, must have been that change of footwear, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mitrovic back to life.
It's Ballard for Sunderland. Roberts. There's an outstretched leg from Kearney, and that's a free kick to Sunderland. There's a bit of activity down on the Sunderland dugout. They need to change the momentum of the game now. They've started the second half really well, and that goal has, if anything, come against the run of play, but it's put Fulham into a very strong position.
Yeah, and that will be the disappointment for Tony Mowbray. His team were on top. They were building up a head of steam. Just that kind of Premier League quality. You switch off for a second. And that's what they're capable of doing. Two substitutes combining, Mitrovic and Pereira. It's putting Fulham in a really strong position now.
Here's Kearney. Oh, well won. Neal. 4 ahead of him in red and white. Dan Neal carries it. And carries it. And still carries it. And goes over. And Tim Robinson's not interested at all. Well, I'm not quite sure what Alexander Mitrovic was doing back there. His challenge.
It's a good job he did get back there in the end. Saves a certain goal, barnstorming run from Dan Neal. Don't think he actually sees Mitrovic there as he goes past Tosin. He just steps across him. There is contact, but probably not enough to warrant a penalty.
Yeah, it's good defending. Sunderland have Alex Pritchard, who's just back from a calf injury, stripped and ready for action, and also Luca Nyan will be coming on. Danny Bart. Elise. Bar. Mishu. Sidestepping Andreas Pereira. That's a foul. Free kick to Sunderland. It might give them the opportunity to make those changes. Here they are. Alex Pritchard with the beard. Familiar little figure is going to be coming on, the former Norwich man and Huddersfield man. And Luca Nyan is coming on as well. Patrick Roberts is making way. So O'Nien on. Dan Neal is the other player going off as Pritchard comes on as well. Fulham also making changes. Bobby De Cordova-Reid and Harrison Reed are going to be coming on. And Kenny Tete is coming off. And João Palhinha is coming off. So 4 changes all in one go. De Cordova-Reid and Harrison Reed for João Palhinha and Kenny Tete for Fulham. Luke O'Nien and Alex Pritchard for Patrick Roberts and Dan Neal for Sunderland. Bobby De Cordova-Reid has gone into a right full-back position, which is not his natural slot, but he is the very epitome of the versatile modern footballer.
It certainly is. Great player for a manager to have. Will play multiple positions and give it 110% every single time. Luke O'Nien just coming back from a suspension, sent off against Swansea.
And Pritchard's a clever player. "25 minutes to go. Hume, O'Nien, Bart, Barr, Harrison Reed in very quickly. Elise, Tony Mowbray was saying in his press conference this week before this game that often when a lower division side takes on a Premier League outfit, home or away, it's the first game that gives them the best chance to cause an upset, and maybe that's how it's going to prove.
Well, they were certainly very good in that first game. Game could have gone either way.
Well, Harrison Reed's made an error here. O'Nien forward to Barr. Barr looking for Amad Diallo. There was a crucial touch by Tosin. O'Nien. Barr with a pirouette, but Tosin didn't buy it. And offside is the decision, and it's a free kick to Fulham.
Doesn't quite get himself back on side in time. Barr, that ball's played into his feet, but missed opportunity just before that. Should have done better with the layoff. Just plays it straight at Adebayo.
They are the Fulham fans who are high up behind that goal being defended by Marek Rodak. Here's Pritchard. Saw a gap and went right through it. Pritchard! Shame. All the power was taken off the shot. Elise back to goalkeeper Patterson. There were about 6,000 Sunderland fans at Craven Cottage for the first game, which is a fantastic turnout. Those who've made the trip from West London have certainly nothing like 6,000, maybe 600, but it's still a good effort on a cold evening kickoff game. I'd hazard a guess there are probably more Sunderland fans in London than there are Fulham fans in Sunderland as well.
Not sure, Steve. Big fan base, Sunderland. Here, there and everywhere. No, I think you're right.
Yeah, a lot of them would. A lot of them would be. There'd be a fair few in London.
Yeah.
Here's Pritchard. Clark. That's a strong challenge. Here goes Mitrovic. Let Solomon take it up. Pereira to his right-hand side. Andreas Pereira, and he's hit Solomon with the shot. Had options to his left-hand side, both Kearney and Mitrovic.
Good defending from Solomon in the end.
Yeah. Diallo. He's a little will-o'-the-wisp figure, Amad Diallo. Super feet. Ballard for Sunderland. Pritchard. Danny Bartford. Cleared away by Cordova-Reid to Harry Wilson. Just caught by O'Nien's outstretched boot. It's going to be a free kick to Fulham.
Lovely free feet from Harry Wilson. You know he's going to want to drive inside on that left foot, but O'Nien not able to do anything about that.
Tony Mowbray is looking at his bench again. I think we're going to get a look at a couple of young Sunderland prospects. And that's going to be a free kick to Fulham. Jerson Bennett, the Costa Rican international, is getting ready to come on. He played all 3 Costa Rica games at the recent World Cup. And we're also going to see Pierre Ekwah, a French-born former Chelsea and West Ham youth team player.
Yeah, slightly difficult one now for Tony Mowbray. 2-0 down. Obviously, the importance of the league programme as well. The squad's a little bit thin. Lots of young players on the bench tonight, few injury issues, so really important to kind of manage certain players as well, and the likes of Patrick Roberts, who are so important. Dan Neil going off as well. Opportunity here to give these younger players some experience.
So Amad Diallo is replaced by Jurison Bennett. He's the Costa Rican. And Edouard Michou replaced by Pierre Ekwa. Both straight positional swaps. Third game for Ekwa in Sunderland's first team. And Jurison Bennett has 1 goal in his 13 appearances for the club so far. And here he is. Bennett, the space. Reed came across, taken up by Hume. The right back finding himself furthest forward. Well, positive introduction from Jurison Bennett.
Yeah, certainly was. Just took a little bit too long to get the strike away. Space was there. Just took a little bit too long, allowed Harrison Reed to get back and make the challenge, but really positive direct start from the substitute.
Nicely done, Kazawa. Here's Reed. Oh, Reed's trodden on the ball. Pritchard almost getting in the way. Well, it's practically his first contribution to the game since he came off the bench. Pierre Ekwa. Pritchard didn't help him, really.
He certainly didn't. Could never really then get it out of his feet to get the strike away. Scuffs the strike in the end.
Deckled over Reed forward. Wilson. Bart. Oh, Patterson has given it straight to Kearney, who thought about going for goal. O'Nien read that and got himself in the way. Wilson looking for Mitrovic. And that's a better clearance. Referee Tim Robinson had a good view of that. Duffy on O'Nien, let it go. Here's Solomon. Tosin. Duffy. Deckled over Reed. Hume for Sunderland. Well, Kearney's won it from him, and there's a bit of a gap now behind Hume. Kearney trying to exploit that. Good recovery. That's a good challenge by Hume. Young Irishman from Linfield. Solomon. Harrison Reed. Bobby de Cordova Reed. Mitrovic, Andreas Pereira. Well, that could easily have been the third that would certainly have finished this tie. They link up again well, Mitrovic and Pereira.
Yeah, lovely football from Fulham. Just lacking the finish in the end. Harrison into Mitrovic, round the corner to Pereira. On that weaker left foot, not able to keep the shot down, always rising over the bar, but lovely football.
Scored 43 goals for Fulham last season, Alexander Mitrovic, and 5 more for Serbia. That was some season. He's having another one this time around.
Yeah, and the question always was, can he do it in the Premier League? And he has this season. I think he's got 11 goals this season. As you say, links up really well with Pereira. with a really good understanding.
The chap on the left in the glasses is Cyril Louis Dreyfus, the owner and chairman of Sunderland Football Club. He is 25. His dad used to own Marseille. Here's Pierre Equa. Bennett. Equa. Andreas Pereira. Adji Elise to Alex Pritchard. Back into Elise, that's nicely done. He's in behind Harry Wilson. That's a good ball too. It's Clark, it's bending! It's a brilliant goal. They are right back in this. Jack Clark, who scored Sunderland's goal at Craven Cottage 11 days ago, has fired them back into this cup tie. That is a beauty.
It's a brilliant finish. It's brilliant football. Elisa down his left-hand side. He's been a little bit more prominent second half. Intelligent pick out to find Clark, and he still got so much to do with the finish. It's a finish right out of the top draw. First touch is good, and he just leans to the left and just bends it into that far corner. Moment of real quality from Jack Clark. Brings Sunderland back into this game. Just uses Shane Duffy as a guide there, just bends it to the left of him. Absolutely no chance for Rodak.
And that's put a whole different complexion on this game. And a fairy tale might be in the offing, because 15-year-old Chris Rigg is getting ready to come on. Absolutely gorgeous finish from Clark, really was.
Yeah, brilliant move all round. Intelligence, Pritchard to see the run of Elise. See a lot of kind of fullbacks get into that position and fail to pick someone out, but cuts the ball back to Clark.
Pritchard looking for Bennett, cut out by Kuzawa. Tosin was there. Solomon. Sunderland wanted a free kick, and Sunderland get a free kick. He's coming on, Chris Rigg. Well, you have to say, he finished at Craven Cottage very smartly indeed. He was definitely offside, so the history books will have to wait, but for how long? They love him already. On comes the 15-year-old. I wonder if he was kicking a ball around the playground at 11:30 this morning.
What a moment for him. I'm sure there's not a nervous bone in his body as well. The way he took that finish down at Craven Cottage. Fantastic moment for him. I'm sure he's chomping at the bit here to get on. Give me a chance, I'll stick it in the back of the net.
Dan James is coming on for Fulham to replace Manor Solomon. Abdullah Bar replaced by Rigg. A little over 10 minutes to play. It's Pritchard with this free kick. Scooped in towards Ballard. Ballard got a head on it. Two Fulham players jump. The shot from O'Nien improbably carried right through the crowd without anyone getting a touch.
And the goal has made it interesting. Sunderland crowds up now. In sense, in a second is possible. That man there, Marco Silva, a little bit more nervous about things. Controlled most of this game, but they deserved that, Sunderland, I think. Not had too many clear-cut chances, but certainly the way they started the second half, ended the first. I think their efforts have deserved a goal.
It was an absolutely super goal as well. He was on loan here last season, Jack Clark. But they had a good look at him then, and they snapped him up. And he is not disappointed.
Yeah, real quality shown from Jack Clark. Last season played a bit more as a left wing back, where Sunderland played a three at the back system, but those are the areas where you really want to see him. He's capable of producing those moments. Brilliant finish.
It's injected new life into this cup tie. It's Tosin for suddenly slightly edgy Fulham. Decoud over Reed. Bart will want that to reach Patterson, and the final touch, I think, was off Danny Bart. He's claiming he was being fouled by Andreas Pereira, but it's going to be a corner to Fulham. He's pushed me.
Yeah, just claiming a push in the back there. Bart from Pereira, it's an awkward one, it's bouncing. As the ball comes down, just comes off the left foot there.
Well, Fulham have lost 7 of their last 8 FA Cup fourth round ties, losing at this stage in each of the last 3 seasons. Are they going to get through tonight? It's suddenly looking more difficult. Pereira with a corner, and it's dropped to Mitrovic, who didn't get much contact on it. Kearney back in, Duffy jumping, Kurzawa, and that should do it. It's 3-1 to Fulham, and that might snuff the light and the hope out of Sunderland Stadium of Light, because Kurzawa left-footed volley from close range, and Fulham have restored their 2-goal advantage.
It was a brilliant response from Fulham. And the third goal, you feel, will see this Sunderland team off. They're just never really able to clear their lines. Duffy wins that first contact. They win the second one as well. And Kurzawa just gets himself into the right position, right place, right time. Just drops down to him nicely, and it's a really smart finish on the volley. Duffy doing well, keeping it alive, nods it into a really good area. Kurzawa in between bodies, almost in a centre-forward position. Just reacts a little bit quicker. Not the cleanest of strikes. Finds that roof of the net. Lewis Morte absolutely delighted.
Well, Levan Kurzawa cost Paris Saint-Germain over £20 million when they signed him from Monaco. And he has 14 goals for Paris Saint-Germain and now 2 for Fulham in this loan spell. And that will probably put them through for a game against Leeds in round 5. Probably. They think it does. O'Nien, helped on by Ballard. That was put behind for a Sunderland corner. Sunderland's first corner of the game coming in the 84th minute. Pritchard to take. Pritchard with this corner kick, up go the heads, and wasn't too far. Well, Danny Bart got a decent contact on it in the crowd.
He's just up against Shane Duffy here. Attacks the ball well, doesn't actually get there. It's his teammate, I think it's Hume, who maybe gets there before him, takes it right off his head.
I'll ask you for a player of the match in a couple of minutes, Danny. Patterson's clearance, Rodak's clearance rather, a 9 back to Patterson. Kearney. Alex Pritchard off Harrison Reed. Kearney. Kearney is fouled. And it's a free kick to Fulham. And your player of the match, Danny?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that man there, Tom Kearney. Got that all-important equaliser in the first game at Craven Cottage, and maybe not so much second half, but first half I just thought he controlled the game, given that time and space to operate, and he's just a really nice player to watch when he gets on the ball. He's capable of playing those passes, controlling possession. Excellent performance from him.
That's Hume. And again Hume. Can't find Bennett. Andreas Pereira. That's short. Clark. Ekwa getting it caught under his feet a little bit, but then finding a way through. Harrison Reed momentarily. Harry Wilson helped out his teammate. They could over Reed's header. Adjelisse.
Steve, I think you look at the intent shown by Marco Silva at half-time with a double sub with Pereira and Mitrovic coming on. I think there should be serious intent from Fulham to go really deep in this competition now. You look at the squad that they have, they're able to juggle both competitions. Good points total in the Premier League, not too much pressure on them there. I think they're comfortably going to be in the Premier League for next season. Why not take this competition seriously?
Well, it would be only their second fifth-round appearance in the last 12 years, Fulham, if they go through. Beaten quarter-finalists in 2009 and 2010, which was their fantastic season under Roy Hodgson when they reached the Europa League final.
Yeah, fair few Premier League teams have gone out as well already. So this is the kind of stage as a player, as a manager, when you're one of the Premier League teams, you start looking at things and saying we could possibly do well if kind of the draw goes our way.
Well, Jack Clark will be delighted with his contribution over the 2 games. A player who didn't quite make it at Tottenham Hotspur, but he'll feel that he belongs on the same pitch as top-flight players.
Yeah, he's almost having to reinvent himself a little bit. Young player making that move to a big club very early. A lot of pressure on him and didn't really work out. Didn't get too many opportunities. Had to go elsewhere and get his career back on track. Certainly looks like he's doing that here at Sunderland.
Ekwa, Bennett, Ballard, Hume. Can't quite find Bennett. Kurzawa was there. That's some challenge by Hume. It was a fair one. Hume has lost it. Andreas Pereira forward. It's going to be a free kick to Fulham. Well, he's a north-east lad with strong Middlesbrough connections, of course, Tony Mowbray. It's a famous Mowbray Park in Sunderland, not very far away.
I was speaking to 2 of the Sunderland fans earlier in the season when his name was kind of being bandied about for the job, and there was 1 or 2 fans who weren't too pleased with him maybe becoming the manager, but I don't think you can doubt the job that he's done up until this point. And he'd be really pleased with the performance of his team tonight again. Kept going. It's always going to be a difficult one for them coming up against Premier League opposition with some of the issues that they have as well with injuries. Giving a good account of themselves again.
Sunderland's cup run is coming to an end, but they can be very pleased with how they played, particularly at Craven Cottage. But Kurzawa's goal has finished this tie, really. Both of his goals for Fulham have come in the cup. He scored against Hull City in round 3. Adjelisse, that's a foul by Wilson. Fulham actually have a little bit of FA Cup history. If they do go deep in the competition, they have suffered the heaviest ever defeat in an FA Cup semi-final. They lost 6-0 to Newcastle back in 1908. Nicely flicked on Bennett. Oh, Bennett! Yes! It's 3-2. Jerson Bennett, the youngster, the teenager from Costa Rica. They don't have long, but they do have a chance.
Well, surely not. Just takes advantage here. Bennett of the slip from Kurzawa on that far post. loses his bearings, loses his footing. It's a really good finish. Tosin not dealing with that first ball forward. Kazawa losing his footing. Bennett just nicking in on the far post. And that is a great finish, finds that top corner.
And it's kitchen sink time at the Stadium of Light. To a minimum of 4 added minutes. They need the ball down the other end of the pitch. Ballard tries to get it there. Duffy with a header. Goal kick.
And credit to Sunderland. You know, they keep going, never know when they're beaten. A few of those Sunderland fans already left the stadium, maybe prematurely. Can
Yes.
they get some concerted pressure on last couple of minutes here?
You could see Tony Mowbray moaning about 4 minutes there. They're not very happy that it was only 4. Here's Luke O'Nien. Clark, nicely away from Wilson. Pereira got a foot in. De Cordova Reed forward. Ekwa back to goalkeeper Patterson. This has got to go. Ballard will probably launch this. Up it goes. Clark. And still Clark. Pritchard. 4 in the middle, Sunderland. Pritchard's drifting cross. Headed up and over his own bar by Tosin. Sunderland have a corner. And they have about 100 seconds to score a goal.
Nervy from Tosin, the header. Just floated into an area from Pritchard, who's difficult to get the power of the purchase on the header, and Tosin should have done better, concedes the corner.
Patterson is forward. Pritchard on the corner. In it goes. Too high for Patterson, headed. Now, who's got the last touch on that? It was a Sunderland head. Dan Ballard saying it wasn't me, but the referee says goal kick.
Yeah, just asking the referee who headed it. Just asking the question, difficult one to see from where we are. There we go. Yeah, it does look like the final touch comes off Ballard.
Yeah. And it's just getting a little bit heated now. Sunderland think Andreas Pereira is trying to waste time. Tim Robinson will add on what he feels is necessary. And Marek Rodak is moving the ball before he takes his goal kick. Home fans aren't happy. Might finally take this. Tim Robinson restarts his watch as he cleared the ball. All those seconds will be added on. Elise with a header. Harrison Reed out of play. Sunderland throw-in. Elise with a throw. Reed out of play again. Another Sunderland throw-in. But they've advanced about 20 metres up the pitch.
You need to get this ball in play, get the second ball and get the ball into the box.
Elise with the throw, catapulted into that area. Duffy away. Rigg with the header. O'Nien off after it. Lofted forward by Ekwa. Tosin. Kearney brought down by Dan James. And Kearney takes it up. And it's 3-on-1 here. It's Tom Kearney. Mitrovic to his right. Kearney overruns it. Hume is there. And Sunderland aren't quite finished.
Outstanding defending from Hume, just blocks off the square pass and gets across and stops Kearney from scoring. Brilliant defending.
And the referee, Tim Robinson, has blown his whistle and Sunderland fall to the ground.